Happy technically first week of October. I'm just gonna wait for a couple of you guys to tune in before I get started. Um, and as always, if this is your first time joining me live, definitely shout out in the comments so I can give you a shout out. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know what city you're in or what state. Good morning, Stephanie on Instagram. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Facebook. Um, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Aisha Chidole, and I'm an immigration attorney. I represent clients all over the United States with their family immigration matter. My phone number here is 407-995-6567. You can also send a WhatsApp to 404-333-8751. Good morning, Ashani on Instagram. Good morning, Stephanie on New York from New York. Roy from Miami. Kingen from the Boogie Down Bronx. Let's see who else we have here. Okay, thank you guys so much for joining. So today, well, if you've listened to my live over the last few days, you know that I've been talking about, types of abuse that spouses face. The first day, which was, I think, Thursday, I talked about the kinds of abuse men face, which was very popular because, I got a lot of men saying, we deal with this, but it's just really hard articulating. And so that was really helpful to hear sort of the abuses that men face. And then yesterday on Friday, we talked about what women deal with. Um, and today, I just want to talk about those in same sex relationships because, I just want to make sure that whoever is dealing with abuse understands what options that they have and what signs of what to look for. So, as I always tell you guys, I'm all about equal opportunity and helping everybody. And so everyone needs to know what they fall under. So, a lot of times with same-sex marriage, they're in more unique circumstances and challenges just already because, actually, let me go back first of all and sort of explain for those of you who are just tuning in, what Vawa is, and then just jump right into it. So Vawa is basically an act that was passed into law that allows spouses of United States citizens to petition if United States citizens or legal permanent residents, so if they have a 10-year green card, they're married to somebody with a 10-year green card, to petition for their own green card if that spouse is abusive. So it doesn't matter if you're a woman, it doesn't matter if you're a man, or it doesn't matter if you're in a same-sex marriage, as long as the marriage is legal where you initially got married. Okay, so let's just for shits and giggles today, just imagine that you got married in America and you're dealing with this and you guys live in America, and stuff like that. A lot of times, with same-sex marriages, there are many of them that are from countries that are not forward thinking and are still not accepting, right, of same-sex marriages, right, or the idea of it. So you find that a lot of times, when people come here, they finally get to be free, they finally get to live and be who they are. And when they're doing this and, in the process fall in love, when they have an abusive partner, one of the things that they do, one of the first things that they do is to try to threaten them about reporting them to their family, exposing them to their family. In other words, bringing them out of the closet, knowing that sometimes this is truly a matter of life and death for that partner. There are many countries, I can't go through a list now, where literally you'll be stoned to death, if they find out that you're in a same-sex relationship, if they find out you're gay, any of all those things. So a lot of those spouses that are abusive play on that vulnerability, on that fear, and say, oh, you want to do this? I will make sure that you get deported, and everybody in your country, everybody in your family knows where exactly or what exactly it is that you're doing. Amanda said your makeup is on fleek. Thank you so much. That's really nice of you. So that is one of the biggest and the most fearful things that they do. Or people come from if you're from a country where same-sex marriage is absolutely an abomination, and then you marry somebody of the opposite gender, and you have children. when they come over here and they're like, okay, I'm who I want to be now and I can live my life. Sometimes the spouses will use your children against you, in trying to reveal that to your children and saying that you're not a good parent, you know. Which is very triggering for both men and women, saying that somebody is not a good parent, so that is one of the two unique things outside of everything else that I talked about that they deal with. And then you also tend to see a higher physical abuse tendency with same-sex marriages, where a lot of times, if you have, let me just drink water, guys. A lot of times if you have, like, an opposite gender marriage, you may see more of the psychological abuse or verbal abuse or emotional abuse. But a lot of times with a physical, with a single gender marriage, they don't have the same rules in terms of, like, oh, I'm a woman and my Instagram keeps disappearing. Can you guys see me on Instagram? Let me know if you can see. Maybe I'm too far away. Maybe I need to come closer. So, like with the opposite gender marriage, a lot of times, it's not a good idea, obviously, to be physically violent. Does it happen? Yes, and that's why you could qualify for VAWA. But there's obviously, like, a really big stigma for a male to be physical, towards a woman. Whereas, in same gender marriages, because they're the same gender, it's it's just like, I don't really care. You're a guy, I'm a guy. I'm gonna punch you in the face. I'm gonna slap you. I'm gonna do whatever. Same thing with the women, the aggression is the same because there's no gender lines as far as what physical violence is. So you find that there's a lot of that happens, in there as well. And then the other thing that you find is that they more so than others really use immigration as a way to threaten their spouses. And yeah, you can ask me your questions, Amanda. I'll get to your question in a second. Guys, if you're just joining for the first time, definitely throw in your questions. Once I finish talking about this topic, I would try to, get to as many of your questions as possible. Now I've lost my train of thoughts, but, there's a lot of, financial abuse, where one partner is working and the other one's like, you need to stay home. You need to stay home. Nobody needs to see you. You don't need to go out. You don't need to talk to anybody. They don't need to know anything about you or, whatever, because, I'm not trying to have you cheating around or sleeping around and stuff like that. So other than those things, those are some of the things that in my own practice that I've noticed that's uniquely very predominant with the same-sex marriages. But of course, everything else I talked about, with both women and with both men, falls in line here as well, with the normal verbal abuse, with how they speak to them, what they say to them, things that are hurtful. Same thing with emotional abuse. Making them feel unloved, making them feel unwanted, bringing in other partners, into the marriage, and they're like, well, deal with it. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And then, of course, the financials of it, not allowing them to work or trying to sabotage their work or come into their work just so that they will get fired and things like that. So those are some of the things that are uniquely peculiar. Well, I don't even want to say uniquely peculiar because it still happens in, opposite gender marriage, but the ones I initially talked about, which are, the threats of outing them, the threats of, reporting them to people in their home country or reporting them to their parents, when you're supposed to be in a circle of trust and trusting so on, because a lot of people, they have a hard time with this because, like I said, it could be what makes a difference between life and death for them. So that concludes that series. Let me take some of your questions. So Armando says, if I applied for VAWA, got a divorce in the process, I want to marry someone in a different country, will it affect me? Absolutely do not marry somebody until your VAWA process finishes. Let me stress that and be very clear. If you have a VAWA petition and your petition is pending and you have not been approved, you cannot N-O-T, marry somebody else. If you marry somebody else, you would have abandoned your application. Just kiss it goodbye. The only time you can marry somebody if you file a petition is if you are already a conditional green card holder and you filed for divorce, you've divorced that person and you remarried somebody else. But if you are a VAWA applicant with no green card, you cannot remarry until your petition is approved, or they will consider it abandoned. Okay? That's the second part of the question, is how long does filing process take after I get my 10-year green card, and how long before I can apply for citizenship? Okay, so if you once you get your 10-year green card, then in 3 years you can apply for citizenship. So you'll be eligible for citizenship within 3 years of you getting your green card through VAWA. Okay, guys. Faizia, good morning. How are you? I'm from the Republic of Benin Republic. Thank you for tuning in. I think you're like the first person that we've had on live here that's from there. Okay, so Amada says, I have a question for you. If you've been denied for your green card and change your status because you don't have sponsorship and you really want to apply, what do you need? Do I need to get a sponsor and find sponsor document alone? I need to include with the reason. I'm not really sure I understand your question, but if your question is one of sponsorship, if you've been denied for a green card because you don't have a sponsor, what he's basically asking is, if you're applying for, I'm just going to use marriage-based case, and most green card petitions, you usually need your petitioner to file a financial affidavit of support, basically saying that they're going to support you and you're not going to be a public charge. If your spouse is not able to sponsor you, if your spouse is not able to sponsor you, you are going to need a joint sponsor. Your joint sponsor must be a U.S. citizen or a legal permanent resident, okay? And not only must they be a U.S. citizen and a legal permanent resident, but that joint sponsor also has to meet the income requirement based on their own family size. So like you and your spouse could be considered a family of two, but your joint sponsor could have 2 children, 1 wife, and that already puts you as a family of 5. So the income requirement is going to go from $21,775 to what a family of 5 is, which I don't remember off the top of my head right now. 38,000 or something like that. I don't remember. Don't quote me. So that is what makes a difference. But even if you're getting a joint sponsor, your spouse must still submit the affidavit of support. Your spouse must still show their own taxes to say that so that they can determine that they don't qualify. And if they don't file for taxes, they must give a reason why they are not filing for taxes, or if they're not eligible to file for taxes. If you don't have one or the other, you will get denied. Okay. Armando is saying, are you saying that I can remarry once I have a conditional green card and I have to wait 3 years to apply for citizenship? Okay, so it depends on what you have. So if you're filing for VAWA, you don't get a conditional green card. You get a green card. You get a 10-year green card. If you have a conditional green card because you just married your wife, or your husband, and you got a conditional green card, and then you guys divorced, and you're filing for removal of conditions because of the divorce or because your wife was abusive to you, because you're a conditional green card, in that case, if you remarry, it's not going to affect you. If you're married and you don't have any paperwork, okay, and then you get a green card based as a self-petitioner for VAWA, then you will get a green card. In that case, you cannot remarry until your VAWA is approved. With VAWA, you get a 10-year green card. With a regular marriage, you get a 2-year green card if you've been married under 2 years at the time your green card is approved. Now, in both cases, if the reason behind why they removed the conditions in your green card is based on abuse, or if you got your green card based on VAWA abuse, can you guys on Instagram see me? It just keeps disappearing. I am losing my mind. In both cases, you will be eligible for citizenship after 3 years of having your green card. So just think, the only thing to remember is that if it's based on abuse, I will be eligible for citizenship after 3 years. Okay. Let me see. Ashani asks, what's the timeline for the VAWA approval? So timeline for VAWA approval right now is 2 years to 2.5 years. Even though they've increased that, when you go on USCIS right now, they will tell you the processing time is 2.5 years to 3 years, which is why they're given the 2-year work permits. I will say that we're still seeing about 2 to 2.5 years. And whenever I give the timelines, like I always say to you guys, this timeline is just what we know as an average. But with everything that's an average, that some people, theirs will come quicker, and some people, theirs will come later. But majority of the people fall within that helm. So hopefully you do. But that's what the timeline is. Okay, Instagram, let's see what else you guys have. So Chuck says, I currently filed for an N-400 and I'm paying up some back taxes before my interview. What way do you think I should make payments to the IRS to be able to have proof, send in checks, money order? So Chucks, that is not good. Let me just tell you, and I will keep it real with you. It's not good that you applied for the N-400 and that is when you're now just doing your back taxes. So the back taxes better have been from this year's taxes, not because you had back taxes from a few years ago and then all of a sudden, you're applying for the N-400 and then you want to pay taxes, because they will say you don't have a good moral character because you're not paying your taxes. That being said, you have to contact the IRS to determine your payment plan and how it works. With the IRS, I don't work for the IRS, so I cannot give you legal advice on taxes. They usually will have different payment plans where they take it out automatically. Money order, I don't believe they do money order. It's either automatically or check. But again, I don't know. I don't work for the IRS. But once you start paying the IRS, you will be able to find your taxes by going to irs.com. irs.gov. And when you go on the get tax transcript, you can get what we call your tax account record. And a lot of times, if you owe taxes, USCIS will ask you for that, or at your interview, they will request for additional evidence. They want the entire accounting, because when you just give them your tax transcript, all they're saying is that you filed taxes, but your account history tells them what back taxes you owe, when you've been paying it, if you started paying it and then you stop paying it, and all of that stuff. But what they don't like to see is that you had those back taxes for years, you just ignore them, and then you file for the N-400, and then you just decided, I'm going to start paying it right now. Now, if you filed for taxes this year for 2020 and you find that and you find that you owe taxes, and that's different because it's this year. So it's not that you ignore that. Okay. Okay, guys, what time is it? I gotta go in 5 minutes. So let me see. So Plex says, I would like to give my mom a green card. How long does it take to process it? So Plex, the answer is, I hope you're a U.S. citizen, because you can only petition for your parent if you're a U.S. citizen and you're over the age of 21. If that's the case, like I said, due to COVID, a lot of things are taking a longer time. Something that would have just taken 8 months in the past. There's, I'm really not seeing, maybe like we have like stragglers or little exceptions, but most even basic adjustment of statuses are taking at least 13 months, and again, that is why they're now given 2-year work permits and 2-year travel permits, because they don't want people to keep applying. And, let me clarify something here. When I say 2-year work permit, these work permits are based on you having a pending petition. This is different from, let's say you're a Vawa applicant and you get a Vawa work permit. With the Vawa work permit, you're going to get a 1-year work permit, because that is essentially saying that you've been approved for your Vawa. So those are the two differences, to make sure you understand. Okay. Okay, guys. Boo for the boo-less said, I missed, please share this on YouTube. Okay, it's on YouTube. I'm streaming on YouTube. So once I save, it's going to save. Okay, guys, I got to go. Okay, wait, let me just answer this one question. Armando, so what did he say? I have a 2-year green card which expired. I applied for Vowel. Applying for citizenship is 3 years counted from the first green card after. Okay, so if you already have a 2-year conditional green card, what you applied for is an exemption of the requirement to remove the conditions with your spouse. based on extreme cruelty and battery, not VAWA. Okay, so that's what you applied for. Same concept, but it's not VAWA. This is very confusing to a lot of people. So I want to make sure that you understand the difference. When I talk about VAWA on here, I'm talking about people that don't have a green card. So if you have a conditional green card, what it is removal of conditions, and you're requesting a waiver of exemption from your spouse based on extreme cruelty and battery, which is the same thing as abuse. The requirements are different from a VAWA case. You can apply for citizenship simultaneously while your case is pending. You start counting from the first day that it says on your conditional green card. So if your conditional green card says January 1st, 2019, been a green card holder since January 1st, 2019, you will start counting from 2019. So 2020, 2021, 2022 would be the first time you'd be eligible to file for citizenship. So while your conditional green card is pending, you can also file for citizenship. And then what will happen is that they will schedule you for your green card removal of condition interview at the same time that they schedule you for your naturalization. So they will do the first interview, which is your green card removal, and focus and talk about the abuse and whatever you dealt with. And when they finish that, they will do the naturalization interview. So that's how that works. And then they will approve you for everything all at the same time. Okay, guys, it was fun. I'm chatting with you guys. I'll be back on tomorrow. Again, I come on between 9 to 10 a.m., somewhere in the middle there. So definitely subscribe to my channel on YouTube, hit the notification button on Instagram. Same thing. I don't know if Facebook has a notification button, but if it does, hit it. Like me, so follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, and share this video. Share with your friends, share it on WhatsApp, share it on Facebook. Don't be stingy with information. Give other people the info that they may need. Sometimes people are dealing with stuff and they don't have anybody to confide in. So you sharing the video is helpful to everybody. All right, guys, have a great Monday, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.